News Talk 98.9, the roar of Memphis. Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan.
Brought to you by Turbo Launch Trampolines. The problem with most trampolines is that you can only bounce 4 or 5 feet into the air. But imagine the fun if you could bounce 75 feet in the air. When you bring home a Turbo Launch trampoline, we guarantee that once your children step back onto solid ground, they will never accuse you of being boring again. The sky really is the limit with Turbo Launch trampolines.
If they can accuse you of anything after a good concussion.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm already looking at Allan. I already know he's going to get the chainsaw, get the turbo launch, and think he can trim off those top branches. Don't do it, sir.
What do you mean think?
Okay.
Or the Sawzall.
Oh, yeah, he's a Sawzall man. Anyway, welcome to Tool Talk Radio, coming to you from the Brown Refrigeration Studios. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry and Wood Turning.
And I'm Allan Gilbreth with darkoakmedia.com.
And that chatterbox back there is Max behind the glass.
You're welcome.
You can call or text us at the Big M Roofing and Remodeling Hotline at 901-683-0989. And, Allan, today, though, we've got something a little different. Everybody, are we going to call this Ice Storm 2022? I mean, my gosh, it's been the weirdest storm ever. The roads are bone dry. But anyway, we want to hear your war stories. We've got some, Allan. We've even posted them on the Tool Talk Radio Facebook page.
It's been an interesting week. I will give it that.
Yeah, so text us call or text us with your stories. And if you have video or pictures, you can send them to the Tool Talk Radio Facebook or just today only, Allan, I'm going to accept the videos because if you have an iPhone, send them to 901-921-7105. And if they're tasteful and interesting, we'll post them.
And be safe. Don't do something stupid.
Yeah.
This isn't a movie named for a burrow.
Yeah. But Allan, this storm has brought out all sorts of it's brought out the good, the bad, and the ugly when it comes to home improvement, when it comes to taking care of your property, when it comes to being a good neighbor.
Oh, yes.
We're even going to get into chainsaw safety. We've got a wide variety, and a lot of it's going to relate to the storm. So it's going to be very relevant to what you're waking up to this morning, and not just here in Memphis, and all sorts of parts of the world.
This is many parts of the country and actually around the world. And I'm going to give a quick shout out.
Yeah.
We now have listeners in Germany.
Hey. How do you say that?
I'm just going to say, hi, guys.
Hey, guys.
Guten Morgen.
Guten Morgen, yeah. So send us messages from Germany. They're probably,
they're used to this stuff.
Yeah, they're laughing at us.
We hope, yeah.
So it's all coming at you today on Tool Talk Radio. But before we get to any of that.
And now, Tool Talk Radio's weekly salute.
Sometimes things get stretched to the breaking point.
Here we go.
Joey Chestnut had his stomach stretched to the breaking point at the last Nathan's hot dog eating contest when he downed 76 hot dogs in 10 minutes. How is that guy still above ground, Allan? In Game 7 of the 2016 World Series, Cubs fans had their anxiety stretched to the breaking point until that glorious out in the 10th inning, which ended a 108-year championship drought. What a great moment that was, Allan.
And you keep reliving it, much to our chagrin.
It's my only happy memory, Max. Max, the producer, had his monthly Lego budget stretched to the breaking point when he surrendered to temptation and commissioned a Tool Talk Radio Studios custom Lego set with bonus features of his own design, such as ejector seats for the Allan and Joe minifigures, punching microphones, and complemented with a tastefully rendered Lego mosaic portrait of Bob Vila hanging on the wall of the producer's booth.
No, that's insult to injury to you, Joe.
Yeah, that's a low blow, Allan. Bob Vila. And, of course, Allan Gilbreth had his patience stretched to the breaking point. After placing an online order for 6 dozen North Egyptian king cobras, with assurances from the snake farm that they would be shipped to his house in time for April Fool's Day.
Yeah.
Only to get an apologetic email several weeks later informing him that due to a processing error during their transatlantic shipping, the serpents were placed too close to a vat of irradiated human growth hormone, with the result that the cobras had quadrupled in size by the time they had arrived at port, and with the added annoyance that Allan's invoice had also quadrupled in size as he was now being billed for the added expense of housing and feeding the creatures, painfully reinforcing a lesson Allan should have remembered from his own childhood, which is whenever purchasing internationally sourced venomous reptiles, one must always read the fine print. Boy, they really soaked you on that one, didn't they? So,
That's okay. They're still coming in.
Joe, you really stretched the salute music to its breaking point.
all right. Yes, sometimes the line between breaking altogether and holding on is a fragile one. And this is especially true when it comes to garbage bag design. How's that for your left turn, Allan? For many years, plastic garbage bags were prone to ripping easily when removed from the trash can, leading to frustration and lots of messy floors. In the year 2004, however, a new kind of garbage bag was invented, designed to stretch further than ever before. My friends, we give you Force Flex garbage bags. Yeah, I think we ran out of music on that one, Allan, but it's
Way out of music.
that was an epic insult for you. But Allan, people are
Was it epic or painstaking?
all right, Matt, will you cut his mic up? Has he had his caffeine this morning?
Well,
He hasn't
we
shut
made
up
a
all
mistake.
morning.
We let him out from behind the glass last week. And,
Yeah.
Well,
I'm
Okay.
still riding on that high.
Okay, so Force Flex garbage bags,
Yes.
Allan. The reason, like I said, we don't overlook the obvious here, but the thing is, I can remember growing up, you pick up the bag, there maybe is one little sharp object in there, and you put the pressure on, and boom, the whole thing rips open. I remember a lot of spilled garbage bags
Right.
these days. I love there's some unique designs with this, right? And it's just rethinking the way you make the plastic.
well, let's go back to 1950 when polyethylene kind of came into being a thing.
Is that what a garbage bag made out of?
Well, your good old fashioned workman 55-gallon yard bag.
Oh,
It
yeah,
is
the
a
biggies.
nice, thick, heavy polyethylene. And a couple of Canadians, Harry Waislick and Larry Hansen,
Okay.
were the guys that were looking at polyethylene and went, we can make a bag out of this.
Right.
And they set up their own little company. And the very first people they sold to, what's kind of important, was the Winnipeg General Hospital.
Okay,
'Cause-
that I was just about to say, Allan, because I'm thinking if you throw things right into a garbage can or into a paper bag, well, you start getting smells. And think of the germs at a hospital.
Well, and that's kind of where we began. Now, the problem is different manufacturers have experimented with different thicknesses, widths, heights. There's a trash bag design for almost anything these days. And now with the cross-ribbing technology where they can go in and redirect how the polyethylene lays out, you get now much more thinner, much less material, but a much stronger bag.
Because if a bag with that cross ribbing you're talking about, Allan, it relieves what is it? It relieves some of the pressure because
Exactly.
you might
It
poke a hole in
gives
the
a
new
little bit.
bags,
Right.
But it's not. It's because I guess the old bags you're stretching it, and then one little pop.
Once that tension got there, it went. Now it's got a little give to it. That's just, it's kind of like your belt after Thanksgiving.
Right.
You need to undo a notch. Give it a little breathing room in there.
And it may seem very mundane to talk about this type of a thing with a garbage bag, Allan, but I could see this coming into large-scale construction because we start talking about space. We start talking about things that really need high strength. It's just reconfiguring. We'll wrap that up when we come back. You're listening to Tool Talk Radio, coming to you from News Talk 98.9, The Roar of Memphis. We're going to take a quick break, and then we are going to dive deep into Ice Storm 2022.
Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan.
This is getting out of hand. Now there are two of them.
News Talk 98.9, The Roar of Memphis.
Yes, there are, Allan. I feel like there's three of us these days, though. And welcome back to Tool Talk Radio, coming to you from the Brown Refrigeration Studios. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry and Wood Turning, here with my buddy Allan Gilbreth from darkoakmedia.com and our buddy Max behind the glass. You can call or text us at the Big M Roofing and Remodeling Hotline at 901-683-0989 or go to the Tool Talk Radio Facebook page. And we encourage you to do that because, Allan, not only have I posted the must-have item of the week already, I posted some video that I promise is exciting. It's something that
enlightening.
It is. I mean, Allan, it's something involving dangerous electricity. It looks like something that's going to wind up on news. The newsreels, and I got it right in front of my house. And
Dangerous or fun?
It's pretty
Both.
interesting. Yeah, it's dangerous, but it's
But
dramatic.
you got to go look. But
Check
you
it out
gotta
at
go
the
look.
Tool
Yeah.
Talk Radio Facebook page. And today only, Allan, because we do want to hear people's battle stories from Ice Storm 2022. We can't accept pictures on the Big M Roofing and Remodeling hotline, but if you want to send them to me, send me videos or pictures at 901-921-7105. And if they're tasteful and interesting, I'll post them, We'll try to do it in real time. Get it up on there. Hey, Allan, before we shift gears into talking about Ice Storm 2022, I think there's a man that's probably feeling it deeply. His name's Larry Brown with Around Refrigeration.
Wow.
This is another one. It was
Didn't even try to call him today. I knew better because
I talked to him.
He is
and
so swamped.
It's like I think we're gonna get him next week, but
Okay.
it's just the poor guy, and I guess there's so many things that happen this time of year. But boy, among other things, you better make sure your HVAC system is working right now,
Yes.
Allan. And I wonder what happens. I don't know. I think of the Remy Halo system with the clean air and everything. I don't know. There's a sense of things getting stirred up. What if your house is getting whacked with trees and vibrating and everything? Is that disrupting all the dirt you've got in your
all right, it's more like
air
this.
ducts and
All
everything?
right, so the power goes out.
Right.
So it's hours and hours and hours. So now everything settles. And
Right.
No, so now everything's settling out of your air is not moving anymore. And the other thing that is happening, especially like during a storm, is there's usually moisture.
Right.
In this case, we got a lot of moisture. It's
Yeah.
everywhere.
It did
and
rain
it's,
heavy on
It's
Thursday.
melting and raining. So the big thing is your house took on moisture. And it's when the systems all kick back up and start running. This is why it's called air conditioning. It's got to recondition the air. So all of that moisture allows, things maybe you don't want to grow.
Right.
So that's where kicking in and having a good heat system. And I'm a massive fan of the Remy Halos.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's when any little thing that might have snuck in with you, if it goes through that air system, I promise it's gone.
Yeah, so it's a great idea. Think not only of your heat and your air, but think of the quality of the air and everything.
Yes.
So the Remy Halo system is great. And like we said, Allan, the home show of the Mid-South is coming up fast. It's going to be November 25th through 27th, and the Tool Talk Radio crew is going to be well represented. We'll be set up there with our booth, and you'll be able to meet Larry Brown. Maybe he might even bring his wife. She's a riot. So you can meet Larry Brown at the home show of the Mid-South, November 25th through 27th at the Agri Center. But if you need to meet him right now, get in touch at 901-362-1881 or go to brownref.com. Hey, Allan, real quick, I know we're going to talk about our, the ice storm and all of that, but I just want to wrap one thought up with the, we were talking about these Force Flexes garbage bags and things like that. And really, they're kind of revolutionary in the way, and I think pretty much everybody uses this kind of garbage bag nowadays. Maybe for a little small can, you can get away with the little liner or something, but really for a kitchen garbage bag, this is the way to go. It relieves the tension, but I see applications down the road for other type of webbing or whatever you want to call it.
When we say things were life-changing,
yeah,
we often apply it to some grandiose type of technology.
Right.
But, in reality, some of the biggest changes in the world were things like drainage, a flush toilet, and I'm going to throw in a trash bag because, all right, I'm going to set the Wayback Machine. Okay, it's colonial USA. What were you doing with your trash?
Right.
There wasn't a trash pickup service. There wasn't, and as I've often said, human history is the history of smells.
Yeah, I was about to say, what does your rubbish bin smell like, Allan?
Well, but now picture the rats and the flies, and I'm going to throw in another one. Picture the hogs and the goats and the things that were getting into all of this. And you're like, we were pretty gross.
I didn't mean to get sidetracked on this, Allan, because I was mostly interested in the cross-ribbing technology and all that. But now that you're mentioning this, I used to do mission work, and I worked way out in the country sometimes.
Yeah.
And a lot of people burn their garbage out there.
Huge burn piles.
What if everybody's burning all of their garbage and all of their funky stuff and everything like that? I just wonder, but yeah. So thank you for garbage bags, and like you said, at hospitals. But Allan, the reason I like the cross ribbing is because you need, when you're constructing things, you need strength, but you also need flexibility.
Yes.
Don't forget, people, we are on basically a spaceship floating through the solar system at how many thousands of miles an hour throughout the galaxy.
Yeah.
We're moving around. Everything moves, whether we think it is or not. So whatever we construct things out of needs to have a certain flexibility. And I think this cross-ribbing type of technology is going to come into play in all sorts of ways down the road.
It already has,
and it already has,
many ways. It's already been indoctrinated of a wide variety of ideas, because even in you have non-woven materials. So they are designed, honestly, to flex and give constantly.
Yeah.
We're even getting that into construction.
Right.
For those of you not for listening outside of Memphis is technically a hurricane zone.
Right.
And not a hurricane zone. We have a lot of big storms we're too far away from the coast for a true hurricane, but we're also far enough in to have earthquakes.
Exactly.
So we have to have actually flexible buildings using basically a lot of the same type of technologies, so it can give a little, so it doesn't break.
Yeah. So we're going to be keeping an eye on that, Allan. But that's I thought it was worthy of a salute, and I'm not ashamed to admit,
No, it's a good salute.
Absolutely.
Good salute.
All right, Allan, I almost don't know where to start on this. Let's see. We
had the strangest ice storm in history.
Yeah, let's just recap for the sake of because actually even here in the Mid-South, everybody got it a little different. Like there were people downtown that were getting snow.
Oh, Munford was in Munford and Atoka and all that, because I was doing a lot of transport driving for people during the storm.
Right.
And the minute you got up to Millington, there was 2 or 3 inches of snow coming down.
Yeah.
But you got back into Memphis, and we were getting pounded with rain, and everything above the ground got just cold enough to freeze. However, it had been 60 degrees the day before.
See,
so
I wonder if that was part of the
ground
problem. It absorbed it all.
Just warm enough to keep the water moving and not ice.
Okay.
So we ended up with this bizarre fairyland garden where everything from the grass up is covered in ice, coated.
Yeah.
But we got so lucky, and our pavement stayed drainable.
Well, that's what I was about to say, Allan. So basically, if you were to drive in, like if you were just somebody from out of town, you drive in, you go, oh, look at the pretty ice on the trees, because the roads are bone dry right now here in
thank
Memphis.
Goodness.
Thank goodness the sun's coming out, but it was enough to cause some problems. There's trees down everywhere. There's tree lines down.
Gosh.
We
Everything.
lost our neighbor's tree. Kind of did a number on our house. I hate to say it, Allan. We're without power. I don't know when we're getting power back. Max's house, you're out of power too, right?
Exactly.
So he's in the same boat with me. But Allan, it occurred to me there's a lot of issues that are gonna not. I mean, we're dealing with things like how do you deal without having no power in your house? You got to think about frozen pipes, because we've been at sub-freezing temperatures. But it's also time to think about being a good neighbor and everything.
Right.
So we're going to kind of go through that. And also, Allan, you're pretty well versed with using a chainsaw, and I think we need some chainsaw tips, because I don't use them that often. I've only used them a few times. So we're going to get chainsaw safety tips from Allan as well. So and also, Allan, let's not forget this. Later in the show, Valentine's Day is right around the corner, and there are fun, romantic home improvement Valentine's gifts that can be given, right?
Oh yeah.
Who's
If
it
you do
fun
it
for?
right. Yeah, we'll see. And men, I'm just telling you, you better be strategic. Don't blow this, especially if you're a newlywed.
Oh yeah.
Don't buy your
get
wife
one
a
shot at
table
this.
saw.
Manage expectations.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, we hope we're managing your expectations here on Tool Talk Radio on News Talk 98.9, The Roar of Memphis. We're going to take a quick break, and then, Allan, let's talk about some chainsaw safety tips.
Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan.
Everything that has transpired has done so according to my design.
News Talk 98.9, The Roar of Memphis.
You know, Alan, I should have known he was behind this. I didn't know he can start manipulating the weather now. Holy smokes.
I'm expecting to hear from Ming the Merciless any minute.
And welcome back to Tool Talk Radio, coming to you from the Brown Refrigeration Studios. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry, and Wood Turning, here with my buddy Allan Gilbreth from darkoakmedia.com and our buddy Max behind the glass. You can call or text us at the Big M Roofing and Remodeling Hotline at 901-683-0989. And we encourage you to do that. We want to hear your Ice Storm 2022 war stories. We want to hear. I got hit pretty bad, Alan. You know, my house is it's not in good shape right now. Well, it could be worse, but we're without power. It could have got really ugly. A tree did kind of a number on our house. But Alan, we got some great video out of it. Never let it be said. You know, we'll use our own suffering. If we can get good content for the show, we're going to bring it to you.
Well, you know, it's going to happen whether we get the content or not, so you might as well get the content.
Yeah, so if you go to the Tool Talk Radio Facebook page, you're going to see I posted some video up there, Alan, and you admitted. In fact, I sent some to our friend Amy Spiropoulos, our favorite news lady, and she got excited and I don't know if it wound up on the news or whatever, but it's cool. Check it out, folks. And we know that you can't send video or pictures to the Big M Roofing and Remodeling Hotline. So just this once, Alan, you can send me directly your pictures and videos, and if they're interesting, I'll post them. 901-921-7105. All right, Alan, we're in the cleanup phase right now.
Oh, yeah.
I think at last count, we're finally under 100,000 people that are out of power here in the Mid-South. I don't know what's going on in the rest of the country. I know everybody got hit. But
it's been a lot of people pounded.
And today, as we said, the sun is out, and I think it's going to be above freezing, right? So
yes,
we're going to start hearing that crackling ice.
And
ice
is going to start falling. By the time we get out of the studio, it's going to look like trees exploding into little glass shards.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's about time to clean up all those limbs out of your yard, and I guess everybody's going to try to get their hand on a chainsaw if you don't have one already. And Alan, I've used them. I mean, they're great tools, but you use them a lot more frequently.
I do.
And what are some things, especially since we're going to be dealing with wet wood, probably slippery conditions, probably a lot of variables. Maybe there's limbs perched in unusual places. Maybe people are up on their roof trying to get stuff off. So let's talk about chainsaw safety and all that good stuff.
The first thing I'm going to say is maybe you don't need a chainsaw.
Talk to me.
All right. We're gonna start out with, once again, Max, you ready? We're gonna have to have some chainsaw music. Or some reciprocating saw music for you.
I was about to say, we need like a chainsaw safety little soundbite.
Yeah.
First thing I'm going to say is, if you have a Sawzall, you can use the large destruction blade or the wood cutting blade, and it will trim up limbs and stuff without having to break out a great big huge chainsaw. So if you've got a lot of smaller stuff.
Yeah, tell people what a Sawzall is. I know we use the term a lot, but we always get new listeners.
A Sawzall is actually a reciprocating saw. All it is basically a handle. You put a blade in one end, and it jerks it back and forth really fast.
And there's lots of different blades. There's some that are designed for cutting metal.
There's all that. But the biggest thing to a Sawzall is its ability to destroy things.
Yeah. It's pretty effective because the blade is right out there.
Well, they make a couple of blades that are designed to cut through wood and nails. Mm-hmm. So if there's something that was in the tree or something like that will cut through it.
Right.
Now, I'm advocating that for the smaller stuff. And the safety rules I'm about to start laying down for chainsaws apply to any cutting instrument you're going to use.
Okay.
Number one, make sure your feet are not someplace sketchy.
Yeah, exactly.
Do not be balanced on 3 milk crates and a stump.
Yep.
My gosh.
Your balance can shift easily. And the thing I noticed too, Alan,
so quickly,
when you're dealing with tree limbs, they're 5 times heavier than you think they are. You're like, oh, look at this nice log, and it probably weighs 900 pounds.
And we'll get into my driving adventures later, but physics is going to come into play here as you cut and move things.
Right.
So once again, how do you eat an elephant? You eat it one bite at a time. Do not pick too big a piece to start on. Small bites. Small bites are safe bites. Now, if you've got a limb balanced over something, keep in mind when you cut off weight on one end, you make the other end the superior end, and it's going to move.
Oh, yeah.
So, again, I go back to make sure your feet, your stance is steady. Now, this you could be on a ladder. I mean, honestly, people are going to be doing a lot of cleanup and that kind of stuff. Please make sure this ladder is safe. Make sure that it is not sliding, tipping, or sinking into the earth.
May I weigh in, Alan? Because I'm a big advocate of, like, for example, perfect example, Alan. Last year, I did a patio cover, but it was on the second floor of a house, and the only way to access it for me easily was a ladder.
Right.
I put bungee straps and everything. Even though the ladder was perfectly stable, you never know when you're going to lean back. You never know when something. So just wrap that thing around the tree if you have to, even if it takes longer. Just make sure that if it slips, it's not going to just fall.
I'm even going to throw in, duct tape has 1,000,001 uses. And I'm going to tell you it's now 1,000,002.
There you go.
Because if you need to throw a quick wrap around something just to make sure the ladder's not going to move because it is wet, we are dealing with ice, we are dealing with very cold temperatures.
Yeah.
Just make sure your footing is solid.
Right.
So please make sure you got that covered.
Yeah.
Rule number 2. Know where everything is.
What do you mean?
Here's what I mean by that. All right, so here's all this foliage, and there's stuff piled around it, and you're going to be reaching in or around, or you're going to be taking an implement, whether it's a sawzall or a chainsaw. You should never lose sight of the blade or the bar.
Okay, that's a good idea. Yeah,
You
because if you're
always
just
need to
plunging
be
into
able
the
to
breach, you might hit a little metal spike. You might hit a rock.
hit a power cord.
Right.
You might hit, a recent experience. I went to pick up a bunch of rags in a storeroom, and me and a possum started to dance.
Yeah, we heard about
So
it.
you just don't know what's where you can't see it.
Right.
So
Is that good phrasing, Max? What's where you can't see it? You're a writer, Alan.
it's not good phrasing. It's phrasing you're going to remember at 2 p.m. when you're cold and you're miserable and you're trying to get these limbs off of your air conditioner unit.
Okay.
You're going to remember it that way.
What's
Trust
where
me.
you can't see? Okay. Anyway.
All right. So rule number 3.
That's a good one, Alan. Don't just plunge blindly into something. Make sure you can always. That's a good. Just make sure you can always see the blade. That's a good tip for any.
The other thing is know the trajectory of what you're doing.
Okay, I think I know what you mean because a chainsaw will spin from it goes over the top and then the bottom comes back towards you. So it's pulling things towards you.
It's
basically.
pulling or pushing.
Right. Well,
depending upon
on
which way
go.
you're trying to go. Because you can use a chainsaw in reverse and cut from the top up or the bottom down.
Yeah.
If you go from the top up, it is coming towards you. And this is why it's important to always keep both hands on the saw.
Yeah.
Do not, I know you've seen this a million times on some terrible DIY show or how to rescue the wilderness.
Right.
Somebody's out there, one hand in a chainsaw like the Evil Dead movie. No.
Can I weigh in on something? Because I can speak to this, Alan. One of the things I have at my house is one of those bow saws because you can cut through some stuff with those. Those things have great cutting ability. But everybody knows, okay, if you were to cut a limb from the bottom, you start cutting and then the weight of the limb pushes against it, it grabs the blade and it won't let you move. But even from the top, if you go at the wrong angle, it'll pinch the blade. So you have to think very strategically. I've seen these lumberjacks where they cut kind of a wedge, right, Alan?
Right.
They might go at an angle, then they go another angle. And that's applicable.
Well,
so
the thing I'm going to throw in now is we may not know what the vectors are affecting what you're cutting.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it's off the tree, then it's not necessarily gravity we're worried about. It's the other things that it's pushing against.
Right.
So you could get pinched cutting from the top down if it's going to bend in on itself,
Yeah.
or you could get nailed going the other way. So you really need to pay attention. What is the trajectory that you're going to be cutting on, and where is the material going to go?
Yeah, I think what I'm pulling out of this so far, Alan, is always know where. Make sure you can see the blade. Think about your weight distribution. Make sure your feet are secure, and start with small bites. Basically, just start practicing with the small end.
You don't
and
need,
get warmed up. Really, it's not a bad idea.
And the other thing is, wear the right stuff.
Yeah, the steel toe boots are a nice idea today.
Some eye protection, some
Yeah,
ear
eye
protection.
protection,
These things
gloves.
are loud.
Yeah.
But really, seriously, eye protection, big time, people.
All right, good tips, Alan. You're listening to Tool Talk Radio here on News Talk 98.9 The Roar of Memphis. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to shift gears. We've got some more juicy things to talk about from Ice Storm 2022.
Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan.
You've got paper and you've got paint. A deadly combination! Let me show you.
News Talk 98.9 The Roar of Memphis.
I don't know, Al. If that guy shows up today, I might hear him out. I don't know. He makes some good points. Anyway, welcome back to Tool Talk Radio, coming to you from the Brown Refrigeration Studios. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry, and Wood Turning. Here with my buddy Allan Gilbreth from darkoakmedia.com and our pal Max behind the glass. You can call or text us at the Big M Roofing and Remodeling Hotline at 901-683-0989. And we encourage you to do that, especially today. We're trading war stories, Alan. Well, we haven't traded any yet, but we're about to, because we've been affected in different ways. Alan, I know you're overseeing some commercial properties. You've got a lot, and you've got, some of these hospital situations where you really have to be on top of the
You get to react very quickly. Yes,
I represent the average man, the homeowner that's just kind of, luckily your home maintained power. I've been pounded by trees. We've had wires, we've had electricity, we've had dramatic footage that's come out. Luckily our house hasn't burned down yet, but we suffer for our art here at Tool Talk Radio. So I was dutifully, even in the midst of my suffering, Alan, taking video, and we've posted it on Tool Talk Radio's Facebook
Oh, cry me
page.
a river.
But today, since a lot of this is going to be, you might have exciting pictures or video of your challenges with Ice Storm 2022. So send those directly to me at 901-921-7105, because I don't think the Big M Roofing text line accepts pictures. I could be wrong. But anyway, you know what? Speaking of the Big M Roofing and Remodeling Hotline, boy, I wonder what Jay's week is going to be like. I wonder if he's going to have anything to do. Jay Hill, the owner of Big M Roofing and Remodeling, Allan, he replaced my roof. I'm going to be making a call to him. We had some limbs fall on our house from this storm. And maybe a few shingles were damaged. It could have been a lot worse. It could have done some serious damage. But I have to wonder, one of the things we talk about with Jay Hill is he is a GAF master installer. He's accredited with the Better Business Bureau, 5-star reviews with Good Housekeeping. He's well qualified. But what's also interesting about Jay, which is why he's probably going to be very busy this week, is he is a former insurance agent. So if your homeowner's insurance is going to cover this, if you're going to make a claim to replace your roof or repair your roof, you need to navigate that process, because it's not just a matter of picking up the phone and hoping for the best. You want, basically, with Jay, you get an advocate. He knows the whole process. He will get the most out of he'll get the most settlement, whatever you want to say.
Well, you're protecting your investment, and you're protecting your rights. So you've got somebody that can guide you through what can be a fairly complex process.
Sure, and especially with all this. And as a matter of fact, Allan, I think that's how we got to know Jay at our house, because last year we had another similar storm. it was a little different. It lasted a couple weeks, but they were able to help us with the whole process. And he's a lot of fun to work with, and he's very knowledgeable, and they'll get it done. And what I like about Jay is he doesn't wait around. You'll call him, and it's like, okay, I'll be there.
Yeah, let's get this done.
Let's get rolling on this. So get in touch with Jay, especially during this critical time. You can call him directly at 901-484-5645 or go to bigmroofingandremodeling.com. And when the dust settles, Alan, he told us that a lot of his remodeling projects involve creating home office space for you, converting your garage into workspace or whatever. And I was just working for a customer this week, and she's doing the same thing. She works for FedEx. She's been working out of her house for 2 years. That's the wave of the future.
Been kind of a thing. So it's a great way of looking at possibly even increasing your property value, because that is going to be a thing from now on.
Yeah. And if your home was hit by some limbs and you say, well, we dodged a bullet, there's no damage. Well, you don't know that yet. We haven't had a rain again. So
you need
the
to have
next
somebody
rain that
look.
comes along, you might want to get it checked out sooner than later just to be safe. So, all right, Alan, we're unpacking the drama of Ice Storm 2022. This really should have been the lead, because among the dangers, you could say, we've talked about water getting into your home, I suppose. We've talked about, I think we've driven home the point about frozen pipes. We're going to go ahead,
I think we
Max.
should have talked about this at the beginning, but the perfect way to preface this is the Shakespeare quote, "Now is the winter of our discontents."
There you go.
Well, there's a lot of discontented people out there now.
What I was going to bring up, though, is the down power lines. MLGW is swamped right now, understandably so. You may think, well, I've got a down power line in my yard. They're going to get to me in the next hour or two. Well, they can't. They're stretched thin. They have to prioritize. We have down power lines in our yard, Alan, and what sort of things do we need to think about?
Well, once again, leave it alone.
It looks really harmless. You're like, oh, look at that. It's just a rubber wire.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. When it comes to electricity, I'm going to give a quote I was given working out west with a line company that actually ran the major transmission lines. So like that line that arced out by your house, what was arcing out was around 16,000 volts.
Well, should we? You just skip to the climax, Alan. But do you want to talk about that?
All right, I skipped to that to get the big dun 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 music to get everybody's attention. That what you saw arcing out was 16,000 volts. So laying in your backyard may be anything between 240 and 16,000 volts. So leave it alone.
And by all means, if you've got dogs or pets,
again,
do not let them anywhere near that.
If you got to take them out on a leash.
Right.
Do what you got to do, but and be careful, because the other thing is it's wet.
The other thing is it's wrapped in black cable, which blends right in with the ground.
Oh,
it's you may not even see it till you just assume the worst. Just don't just traipse out in your yard.
And all the power's out. I know no power's on in the neighborhood. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to say the theory of electricity. We don't call it the science. We call it the theory. Because we don't always know what electricity wants to do. And I'll throw in my favorite quote: electricity does whatever it wants to do.
Yeah.
So that line may be down, but you don't know that the crew is working one street over.
Right.
And when they hook something up, that line might go hot.
Exactly. Well, that's the thing. Just always assume the worst and don't get anywhere near it.
Yeah,
and
just make sure you've turned it in. You've sent in your notification. You've called or whatever and said, okay, I got a downed power line. It's at this location. And then, I hate to say it, have a little faith and go sit on your hands, and they'll get to you.
And
they're coming.
I've lived in a lot of places, Alan. Hats off to MLGW. I think they do a great job. They give us give us the best water. And my utility bill has been pretty stable in terms of the rates. Like I said, I've saved money since I got my new roof, but I have nothing but respect for MLGW as far as this, and I know they're out there working, and these guys are.
Our
24
hat
hours
is
a day.
off, and a major salute any line man or woman working for MLGNW right now, because I know they are absolutely pummeled. They have more work tickets than they can see.
Yeah. So I wanted to share something with you, Allan, because this may be happening at somebody else's house, or it may happen if you try to disrupt things. Because I'm thinking specifically of that video I posted, folks. Now, so if you can imagine this, a branch fell, and it was kind of like almost like a big V shape.
Right.
So it fell on the wire, and it was pretty long. And Allan, what happened was, it started slow. I was looking out the kitchen window, and I said to my wife, I said, "There's smoke coming off the wire." And so what happened was, it looked like some heat was building up.
Yes.
And so so this branch, if you can imagine it, folks, is about 7 feet long, and it was dangling down, and then it would bump the wire below it.
Right.
It would sway in the wind.
Right.
As soon as it touched it, it was like out of Star Wars. I think of the evil emperor when he's trying to kill Luke Skywalker. It literally looked like that. Not as blue, but it was just arcing, and it was like fire, and then it would blow up, and then the branch would fall off the thing, and then it would blow against it again. And it did it for a good 5 minutes straight till it finally snapped the wire. But when the branch is just hanging on the wire, it looks very harmless, Allan. But
Right.
I'm just thinking somebody may be tempted to go get those. I'm thinking of those big extension poles with the saw on the end that we use.
Nope.
You may be tempted to reach up there, I'm going to get that branch off the wire.
Before something happens.
Well,
Right.
once you close that circuit, Allan, what was happening? You said 16,000. How many volts were going through? Because it was enough to barbecue a limb and make. I mean, it was bad.
All right, well,
and I posted that video on the Tool Talk
Yes, you
Radio
did.
Facebook page. It's impressive, folks. Trust me.
To quote Ghostbusters,
Yeah.
do not cross the streams. All right.
We're getting all sorts of geek references today.
So
This is
to
good.
get how these things work, those power lines, everybody thinks all of the electricity is in the wire. It's not.
That's
There
what I was
is
going to
a
ask you.
field effect.
It's
There
a
is
field.
literally a stream of electrons both in and out of that wire around that coating.
Mm-hmm.
And what is happening is literally you are crossing these streams. And when that limb, especially good and wet,
It was soaking wet and covered
makes
in
that
ice.
connection,
Right.
it's crossing these streams and is creating resistance.
Mm.
The ohmage is just jumping through the roof, and resistance and amperage is what kills you.
Oh, this
So-
looked deadly. I mean, honestly,
this
it
is
could have
this
been
is
bad.
that moment where the squirrel touches the two wires and no more squirrel. Now you have a branch here that's much more durable than a squirrel, and it's getting absolutely barbecued.
Yeah, that's why I'm thinking, Allan, you're raking your yard or you got a shovel or something, and you accidentally hit that down power line. You've just closed a circuit between you and the ground.
And this is why, and I'm going to throw in a summer reference, this is why never, ever, ever release Mylar balloons.
Okay.
Because they're metal. Mylar is
good
metal.
point.
And when they get into the power lines, they cross the streams and create that huge flash like you recorded from that branch.
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, I think everybody knows this, but just keep in mind they look, and it's very tempting.
They
Especially
look innocent. And if you,
and if that wire, it's sitting somewhere, you go, I'm just going to move it 5 feet so I can pull my car out of the driveway. Don't get near it, people. So, anyway, boy, and we barely scratched the surface with this, Allan, but this is important information.
it is.
You're listening to Tool Talk Radio here on News Talk 98.9 The Roar of Memphis. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to continue this discussion, but we're also going to dive deep into romantic home improvement gifts for Valentine's Day.
News Talk 98.9, The Roar of Memphis. Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan.
And welcome to Hour 2 of Tool Talk Radio, coming to you from the Brown Refrigeration Studios. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry, and Wood Turning, here with my buddy Allan Gilbreth from darkoakmedia.com and our pal Max behind the glass. You can call or text us at the Big M Roofing and Remodeling Hotline at 901-683-0989. And also, it behooves you to go to the Tool Talk Radio Facebook page, not only to interact with us that way, not only to hear links for our past shows, Alan, or to get links for our past shows over on Spotify, but also to see literally shocking video that I posted from the front of my house this week.
I wish I had a rim shot sound effect.
There you go. Thursday, there was we were just talking about it a moment ago, Alan. We were talking about this limb that was hanging from one of the power lines and it would sporadically connect with the line below it, and it created an arc that was like, I mean, this was right out of a monster movie or and I got it all on video for you folks, for you to check out at the Tool Talk Radio Facebook page. So and we'd like to hear from you. So also, if you've got pictures or video from Ice Storm 2022, just today only, send those directly to me on my cell at 901-921-7105. And if they're tasteful and interesting,
and safe.
We'll post them safe. Yeah, we don't want to see idiots on phone lines or power lines or anything. So, Alan, in a minute we've got to move a little quicker through some of our stories. This first hour just kind of went pretty quick, and we've got Allan was giving out safety tips for chainsaw use. We were talking about electrical tips and everything. So we're gonna do a little more of that, but we're also gonna have a little fun because Valentine's Day is right around the corner.
Literally.
Yeah.
It is, what is it, 9 days away?
Yeah.
It is closing in shockingly fast.
And it's our duty here at Tool Talk Radio, with our years of experience, to tell you how to conduct your marriage and your romantic affairs, because who better than us to yeah, right, Alan. So there are romantic home improvement things you could do. So
it's like talking to the guy just sank a boat. let me tell you how this works.
Speaking of romantic home improvements, Alan, I don't know if Mike's going to appreciate this or not. Tri-State Interiors. I'd say remodeling your kitchen or bathroom, I guess you could find a way to make that romantic. I don't know. I mean, at least it's something that's going to improve your home. It's going to improve your lifestyle. It's going to increase the value of your home. So you want to get it right, for sure.
Well, and let's face it, they are the two linchpin rooms of the house.
Absolutely. So, I mean, with Tri-State Interiors, for one thing, they service the Tri-State area here in Tennessee, Mississippi, and Arkansas. They a good chunk of it. If you can hear the show, they're in your area.
They're in your area.
But
yeah.
Mike's approach is all about keeping he wants you to spend the least amount of money. So what he does is he keeps the overhead low. He wants the craftsmanship to be top notch, and he also wants the experience to move smoothly, and for you to have a real comprehensive feel for what it's gonna look like before they even start removing anything.
Right.
So they have the way they achieve that is he keeps a very low overhead. He doesn't spend a lot of money on the bells and whistles. He focuses on the fundamentals. So you're not paying for that. So you get great craftsmanship, low overhead, and also they do not start any work until all of the parts that go into making your kitchen or bathroom have been ordered, and they're sitting in his warehouse and ready to go. So when one step is finished, you go to the next step. It makes the whole project smoother, and it gives you more peace of mind. But Alan, these 3D renderings, I know you're a fan of those.
Well, as far as getting stuff in his warehouse, he also is a big proponent of locally sourcing.
Good
so
point.
He isn't waiting on something to come in off a boat. He can go find it somewhere close at hand. And then you have the 3D rendering, which is amazing. So everybody has, the more people you ask, how do you like my kitchen, the more opinions you're going to get. Some are going to be terrible ideas, and one or two of them might be fabulous. In a 3D render, now it is honestly a couple of mouse clicks, and you can compare counters. You can compare floors, colors, handles, any aspect of this. And it also, I'm going to throw in, don't wait until you're ready to do this project to get the 3D render.
Yeah, you start.
Get
that's the
started
first thing
early.
You do. Yeah.
Get this thing in 3 or 4 months earlier, so you've got time to think about it, become comfortable with the idea, because these are major changes.
Yeah, and another thing, maybe we don't sell this enough, Alan. The 3D render. So basically, the 3D render is going to be a virtual It's a virtual, not video, but it's a virtual graphic.
View, right.
You can rotate and look at what your kitchen is going to look like. And if you say, I want to change the color of the cabinets, you click a mouse. Well, that also determines the budget. You may say, well, for X number of dollars, you can get this countertop.
Right.
Well, and because, there's a lot of reconfiguring. You might say, okay, we're going to back off a little bit on the cabinets and we're going to really upgrade this feature of the home. So it helps with the budgeting, and and you do it all virtually before you've written a check, I guess.
Right.
And so it's and like you said, you might show this to your friend who's a decorator and have great ideas that come out of it. So it's just
also like the home show coming up of steal ideas from the best.
Yeah. Well, funny you mentioned it. We're gonna get into that, and Mike will be there. So
yes,
get in touch with Mike Sarafolian at 901-409-1333 or go to tristateinteriorsllc.com. And all of our sponsors so far, they said they're going to be at the home show of the Mid-South, probably with some goodies, possibly some giveaways that are going to be there. So, and Allan, speaking of romantic outings, you may say a home show. That's your date night or something. Hey, folks,
I got news for you. You can get some. We meet excited people at these shows.
Oh yeah, and we're going to be there. So we'll have the Tool Talk Radio booth. Max is not. I don't think you'll get a chance to meet Max because you're going to be back at the station. Right?
I'll be behind the glass in more respects than one.
He's a reclusive fellow, so he won't be around. But we'll be there, Allan, with all of our sponsors, and we're going to have some fun giveaways and stuff too. So make sure you check it out. It's the home show of the Mid-South, February 25th through 27th at the Agri Center. And honestly, it is a great date for you and your spouse or significant other, because you're basically getting your home ready and making it look, you get great ideas. You're going to meet people that can help you improve your home, man. So it's a lot of fun. But anyway, Allan, okay, enough of the sunshine and roses. It's time to get back in the trenches. When we come back, we've got a few more tips of surviving Ice Storm 2022. You're listening to Tool Talk Radio here on News Talk 98.9 The Roar, Memphis. We'll be right back.
Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan. News Talk 98.9 The Roar of Memphis.
That's how I felt when I looked outside and saw my telephone or my power lines on fire, Allan.
Short, sweet, and to the point.
Absolutely. Welcome back to Tool Talk Radio, coming to you from the Brown Refrigeration Studios. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry and Wood Turning, here with my buddy Allan Gilbreth from darkoakmedia.com and our pal Max behind the glass. You can call or text us at the Big M Roofing and Remodeling Hotline at 901-683-0989. And today only, if you've got any texts or videos, if you've got any videos or pictures that you can't send through the Big M Roofing and Remodeling Hotline, send them directly to me, and we'll post them send them at my number at 901-921-7105. And because we've already posted some juicy stuff at the Tool Talk Radio Facebook page, Allan. So we're going to have to be a little more efficient with that. I'm looking at my notes, Allan, and we've got quite a bit to get to. So let's just, if you missed any of the first hour, I definitely encourage you to go back and check it out. Allan gave some great safety tips. We're obviously talking a lot about Ice Storm 2022, but we're also going to dive later into Valentine's Day and romantic home improvement gifts. We've talked about what to do with down power lines, chainsaw safety, and everything. But Allan, you mentioned something, and one thing, I know my wife has been constantly checking the MLGW website and their posts, because everybody's wondering, well, when are they going to get to my neighborhood?
When are they going to get to me?
And you know a little something about the way MLGW prioritizes this, and also you wanted to also give a shout out to their smart grid and smart meter system.
Yes, absolutely.
So talk to us about that, Allan. How do we gauge when we might get?
When MLG&W first came out with the smart meters, there was some grousing.
Everybody complains about it.
We complain when it's old, we complain when it's new, we complain when it changes. It's kind of human nature.
Yeah.
But here is where the smart grid idea starts to pay off. MLG&W knows when your grid is offline.
Because of the smart...
Because they now have something they can ping. They're not waiting on you to call in and go, hey, by the way, I got no power. They know your meter's not turning because they can see your meter from the main screens.
Right.
All right. So, that's big advantage number one. Okay.
So they're already acting. If it's the middle of the night and your power went out, they already know it.
They know.
Right.
That is how that map is created these days.
Okay.
Now, basically, whenever you have a major event like this, you have the law of diminishing returns.
Sure.
So here's what you want to do. Every repair you want the biggest bang for your buck. So, of course, they're going to start around major things. Hospitals, business areas,
Grocery stores. Yeah.
major areas. So you get that area up. Well, I hate to say it, but a major thoroughfare like Walnut Grove or Poplar Avenue or Germantown Parkway, you get those fired up and you fire up those businesses, which relieves pressure on the homeowners.
Right.
So if you still don't have any power, you can still run down to XYZ fast food place and get food or be someplace warm. So that's round one. Round two, the smart grid is telling them what's up and what's not.
Right.
And I'm going to add in a round three. If for some reason you have a medical device in your home, especially an oxygen machine or for a loved one, you can contact your power company. It's not just MLG&W. Most of them have this now. Check and see if they have a life-sustaining equipment registry. Mm-hmm. This way you can go ahead and put yourself in as a priority.
Yeah, I think that's very important, Allan. And I wonder, too, this is a little thinking ahead. I wonder if we're going to get to a point where those people in those situations might qualify for some sort of a backup. I'm thinking of these home battery systems. Like they might get
most of this equipment comes with its own backup batteries built into it.
Yeah.
And they last anywhere from 2 to 24 hours, depending upon the device. I work with these devices quite a bit.
Right.
So a lot of them already have backup. So especially medical pumps and things like that only turn on once every 4 hours to deliver your medication, those things last quite a while on a battery.
Yeah.
If you've got something that's more active, of course, it's going to last a shorter period of time. So make sure if you're in one of those situations that you look up, you can go online to whoever your power company is and look up life-sustaining equipment or look up registry. And you should have a phone number you can call to register yourself before we have an event. But now that we've had an event, that's a big reminder to kind of give people a shout out that your power company will work with you. And they're coming. In a really terrible way of looking at it, they can't make any money off you if you don't have any power.
Yeah.
So they're trying to get you back hooked up.
That's a good point.
So it's there, but the smart grid technology, this is the event where that really starts to pay off.
And the other thing, too, Allan, is I guess once you get this up and running, you get the grocery stores, you get the hospitals, you get these main, kind of necessary businesses, gas stations and everything. Then you start looking at, if we fix this power line, it's going to restore power to
20,000 people.
20,000. So obviously, if you're out in the sticks, I hate to say it, and it's you and one neighbor who are out of power, you might be waiting.
You might be
priority list.
Right.
So, yeah. Which is tough, but at the same time, in terms of storms, I've seen worse. I mean, what was that one in 1994? I guess was the
one in
biggie.
94 was just horrific. The one we had last year was pretty bad.
Yeah,
this one was just bizarre. It's just the trees this year pine trees in particular seem to be getting really hit hard this year.
Yeah, the pine trees were falling left and right. Yeah, it's I don't know, man, but it's. Be patient, and I suppose, though, you should probably manage your expectations. And, at our house, Allan, I've already said, okay, if we get the power by next week, I'll be I mean, we don't want to live this way. It's a real hassle. It's cold and everything. But at the same time, if the worst part of storms like this, in my opinion, is the not knowing. If you just go, if you're staring out the window going, any minute they're going to show up, I think you're better off to expect less and, just hope for the best. But
well, again, the system knows you don't have power.
Mm-hmm.
It is in their best interest to get you power, but it is going to be kind of a priority of if I fix this corner, I get 20 people back on.
Right.
And then we'll move to the next corner where we can get 15 people back on. And then we'll move to the next corner where we can get 10 people back on, and so on and so on.
Yeah.
So it is going to be a little diminishing returns. But once again, a massive shout out to all the lines people working for the power companies right now, because those trucks are rolling. I've seen them all over the city this morning. And as a matter of fact, while we were sitting here, we've had some fans let us know their power's kicked back on.
Okay, good.
So,
yeah, let us know if you've got some good stories.
One of them is
too.
just right down the street here. I just drove through there earlier getting here this morning, and they were dark, and they've already texted and said, hey,
thank goodness.
Power's up.
Yeah, and the other thing is, too, Alan, one of the things that was weird about this storm, I know Thursday night was when we got, Thursday is when we got hit. And Thursday night, well, actually Wednesday night and Thursday was very unsettling. We were hearing crashes and even little, my son would be upstairs and he'd slam the door to the bathroom, and all of a sudden it's like a little bit of PTSD. And the thing you're just wondering is, when is the next limb going to fall? Well, now that the sun's coming out and everything, I'm guessing we're a lot safer. I don't think they're going to just be dropping like flies, right? Because all the stress that was already on them is,
What's going to happen now is going to be radiant energy.
Okay.
So you're going to have sun glinting through a glass-like object, magnifying glass, into the wood of the tree. So they're going to start absorbing radiant energy. So they're going to start warming up, and you're going to build up that little layer of water between the substance and the ice.
Okay.
And then you're going to have catastrophic cascades. So what's going to happen is somewhere high up in the tree, right, ice.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen is that little branch way at the top that's getting all the sunshine, when that ice begins to fall, now, of course, you're going to have a cascade all the way down the tree. So once again, don't be under the trees right now.
Okay,
because
so
a lot of this is going to you're going to get the limbs falling, but all of the weight of that water and that ice is going to be shed today and tomorrow.
Okay. So it's still time to be cautious and
I would not be under the tree looking up going, gee, I wonder when all that ice is going to come down.
Yeah.
Because it's probably going to come down about 2:00 today.
And it's a good reminder that if you've got problematic trees, okay, well, it's too late to do anything today, but when things clear up, take care of those.
Make sure the plan. Yes.
I've seen trees. I've seen some bad stuff, Alan, and I know we all have. And think how think how bad you're going to feel if there was a tree that you could have addressed early on, and then the next storm hits and it damages your house or worse. So definitely stay on top of it. It's not fun, but it does give you some peace of mind when you're when you do get a storm like this and you survive it and the trees they're healthy and everything. So I don't know. Be proactive, I suppose. So
have a plan for this year. A good cautionary tale to look at your yard and go, all right, let's tidy this up a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Alan, I think we need a little break from the drama. We've been really pounding home. Let's have some fun when we come back. Valentine's Day is coming up, and we're, who better than to give you romantic advice than Alan and I about home improvement gifts that'll woo your sweetheart. You're listening to Tool Talk Radio, coming to you from the News Talk 98.9 The Roar, Memphis. How did I say that with a straight face?
You didn't.
We're going to be right back.
Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan.
I'm always thinking one step ahead, like a carpenter that makes stairs.
News Talk 98.9 The Roar of Memphis.
But when you get to the top step, is it the end of the quest, Alan? Or
it's lonely at the top.
Where do you go from there? And welcome back to Tool Talk Radio, coming to you from the Brown Refrigeration Studios. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry and Wood Turning. Here with my buddy Alan Gilbreth from darkoakmedia.com and our pal Max behind the glass. You can call or text us at the Big M Roofing and Remodeling Hotline at 901-683-0989. And today only, Alan, if you have any video or pictures, even after we're off the air, send those to me send them to me via text at 901-921-7105. And if they're interesting, I'll post them on the Tool Talk Radio Facebook page. They're not going to be. I challenge you to be more interesting than the one I posted of the electrical arcing that was happening. It was something out of a monster movie, man. It was great, happening right in front of my house. It would have been negligent of me to not record it, Alan. It was right there.
I was encouraging.
Yeah, Alan's like, hey, can you get a little closer? Can you get a better angle? I need more video. This is going to make good content for my YouTube channel.
Oh yeah, man.
Anyway. But we've been talking a lot about, obviously Ice Storm 2022. There's a lot of, everything ties in with home improvement on this and home safety. But Alan, let's take a little break. In a minute, we're going to talk about Valentine's Day.
We're going to talk about home safety.
Yeah, but before
you better not forget Valentine's Day. That is home safety.
Well, and I purposely I've been holding off on this shout out because this product ties in perfectly with a home improvement project that I think would make your sweetheart very happy. It's Shelf Genie of the Mid-South. So Cindy Williams, not the Cindy Williams from Laverne and Shirley. Sorry, folks. Although maybe it is, and she no, it's not her. Anyway, Cindy Williams is the local franchise owner of Shelf Genie of the Mid-South, and what they do, Alan, among other things, there's two things at work. Your cabinets, if you were to look in an average cabinet, you have your items that are in the cabinet, and then you're going to notice a lot of air, a lot of empty space. Or you're going to notice a lot of clutter, or you're going to notice a bunch of stuff in the back of the cabinet. It's like, is it even worth trying to dig that out because it's too much of a hassle? Well, they take care of that. They give you better access, and they take advantage of every square inch of that cabinet. So it improves your storage. And also, maybe you're somebody that's got a bad back. Maybe your knees are out. Maybe you've got a robotic hip like Allan, and you got mobility issues. Well, if you get the Shelf Genie system, everything is kind of those full extension type of glides. They also have all sorts of ways with some of these spice towers. Like I know you're a big spice rack guy.
Oh, yeah.
And it just makes it where instead of it being a problem, you just open the cabinet, pull it out, and now you can get that iron skillet out of the back of the cabinet. And it's great. And every single installation is custom. So they design it. The designers are going to come to your house. It's a free consultation, and this is a comprehensive consultation.
Yes.
They're gonna go over every part of your kitchen and get you the best options, and they create it just for you. Their customer service is second to none, Alan. I've never seen an operation like this, and they're just a lot of fun. And Cindy Williams is very passionate about this. She really wants satisfied customers. She wants you to tell. They get a lot of referral work. The neighbors come over and they're okay. Now I want this. And so
it's hard to look at this and go, maybe.
Yeah.
You're going to look at this and go, ooh.
Oh, my gosh.
This is
And everybody uses the kitchen. And if you've got...
Don't forget, they can also do this for your linen closet.
True. Your bathroom, your pantries, everything. So they're great. And they're going to be at the home show of the Mid-South, and you will not miss them because they have a huge setup. It's really interesting. And Cindy, you can meet Cindy directly, but call them and get in touch, and they're very prompt to respond to. They're like I said, great customer service. Call them directly at 901-422-8225. You can also go to shelfgenie.com/Mid-South Memphis. And like I said, we're looking forward to seeing them at the home show of the Mid-South. And we'll be getting Cindy on the air pretty soon. She's swamped too, Alan. Their
can't imagine,
business is blowing up. It's through the roof. So, but anyway, one of the reasons I wanted to hold off on talking about Shelf Genie in the Mid-South is because I think if you play your cards right, that is something that is going to make your spouse very happy, And let's face it, Alan, right now we're talking from the men's perspective. I don't know if ladies are going to go the route of doing a home improvement for their husband or anything for a Valentine's gift. But let's just get into trouble here, Alan. Let's talk about how do you incorporate home improvement and, a romantic Valentine's gift. Instead of bringing home the box of chocolates, maybe you do something different.
Well, I'm going to start with, my interesting sideline during the warmer months of I've spent an amazing amount of time with women, I would say, in their 30s and 40s.
Okay.
And basically getting hired to go give them a tour of the big box store or help with a purchase decision.
Right.
I now own a house and I want a lawnmower, or I want a chainsaw, or I want a power tools, or something like that. And they just don't have the experience behind it. And basically off we go shopping. So I'm going to throw out there that there are some people that, are not going to buy into this. But, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you, there's a pretty good chance your significant other wants something from either one of the big box stores or a hardware store, because there is a gadget, a gizmo, and I'm going to throw this in for the crafters as well.
Mm-hmm.
Crafting is part of home improvement.
There's a lot of overlap when you go to,
there's
like
a lot of
Michael's or Hobby
overlap
Lobby
in
or
the
something
equipment and the stuff that you use and the outcome you're looking for. So a little communication now, before you go make a decision, could very easily get you, an odd but highly appropriate gift for Valentine's.
Okay, that's because I feel like this is funny that we're even giving this advice, Alan. But if you got to think, okay, I'm thinking of the newlyweds especially, because by the time you get 15 or 20 years in, they don't care what we have to say, Alan. But the newlyweds are malleable and can be influenced. But I'm thinking maybe a couple years into the marriage,
right.
You go, honey, let's go to the big box store.
Yeah.
Let's go when we're not in a big hurry, and let's go to some of those sections. Let's go to every section, and maybe there's sections you never visit. And go, I want to do something that's going to make our house more enjoyable, because let's face it, that is romantic at the end of the day. If you have a house that you both feel good, if it creates a nice aura, I would go straight to the lighting department, Alan. You got to get that lighting done correctly. The bad lighting is oppressive. Bad lighting is depressing. Bad lighting.
Unless you're married to someone who's goth.
Okay, shut up.
All right,
Max has been quiet for a while, but even the goth girls, I think they want to be able to see when they're cooking.
All right, but I'm going to throw in.
Yeah,
it's not bad lighting; it's mood lighting.
Mood light. There you go.
It is creating. Now, if you're going to, you just triggered me because I'm so goth. I'm over into gray and dust. Okay, that is creating an effect. And I'm going to look back over at Joe, and whether it's you're lighting it really well, or you're going for the deep shadows and the looks, or you're going for both. Yeah, because it might be 3:00 in the afternoon and you're taking care of the kids and doing stuff, or it's 10:30 at night and you're trying to relax on the couch and watch a movie.
Right. Mood
Those
lighting.
Drastically different lighting. So
yeah.
I am going to say, Joe, you are dead on the money. A lamp may not sound like much, but a properly purchased lamp, properly placed, that's kind of a big item.
The reason I go there first, gentlemen, is because it's easy to put in. You get immediate results.
Yes.
It is not, make sure you do it correctly, but installing lighting fixtures, and it's not a permanent thing. You're not saying, hey, let's retile the kitchen floor. Happy Valentine's Day, honey, because that's a job.
That's a 20-year commitment.
Right. Yeah. If you decide you don't like this light in 10 years, you just switch it out.
Yeah, move it someplace else, give it to one of the kids, or, toss it.
Yeah. There's other, and then, of course, Alan, the appliance section. Get yourself,
I'm all right with the KitchenAid.
Yeah.
Trust me. The other thing I'm going to point out is there is a lot of tools designed both male and female. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of tools designed for different sized people. I'm going to point out that so you're not a big old heifer like me and Joe here. You're a more diminutive person. Mm-hmm. You can get properly sized tools these days.
Yeah.
Makes a huge difference.
Yeah. I'm thinking too, Alan, of and maybe some tools that you will both use together. Maybe you're both gonna do I love the idea of doing a home improvement where it involves both of your skill sets, because at the end of it, you're gonna step back and it's like, wow, we both did that together. So I guess things that unite you, don't just get your wife like we said, don't get her a table saw or a belt sander.
Don't do a me gift.
Yeah.
Do a we gift.
We got a few more tips coming up and a few other fun things, but And we haven't gotten ourselves into too much trouble
not
yet.
yet.
There's still
There's
another
still time.
segment. You're listening to Tool Talk Radio here on News Talk 98.9, The Roar of Memphis. We'll be right back.
Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan.
You're making a plan while I'm being a man, just winging it.
News Talk 98.9, The Roar of Memphis.
You know, Allan, ordinarily I do salute the spirit of the Aquabats. Today, though, I think with safety involved, maybe you don't just wing it.
I guess my attempt to be more positively was a little bit overturned.
No, I mean, look, the MC Bat Commander is, he's a hero and a role model, but today, just be careful. Anyway, people, and I love the fact that half the audience, probably 90% of the audience, has no clue what we're talking about. Aquabats is a niche fandom, trust me.
I try not to understand that.
Anyway, welcome back to Tool Talk Radio, coming to you from the Brown Refrigeration Studios. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry, and Wood Turning, here with my buddy Allan Gilbreth from darkoakmedia.com and our buddy Max behind the glass. You can call or text us quickly at the Big M Roofing and Remodeling Hotline at 901-683-0989. Some people have been weighing in, letting us know their power's back on. We want to know if you've got any horror stories. If you've got anything interesting in terms of pictures or videos, send them directly to me. And even after we get off the air, I'll post them on the Tool Talk Radio Facebook page. Just text them to me at 901-921-7105. And by all means, go to the Tool Talk Radio Facebook page and see the shocking video we already posted, Allan. And in terms of the, we got a lot to get to, so I'm just going to bullet point these. Our must-have item of the week, I feel a little guilty for posting that, but it's saved us. Years ago, Allan, I bought one of those propane camping heaters.
Right.
And I bought a couple cases of the little propane tanks. Boy, has that been a lifesaver. You put the tank in, it's almost silent. It's really quiet, so it doesn't make a lot of noise.
But it is extremely warm.
It gives off a lot of warmth. And what we did, Allan, at our house is we took some of the plastic lining, those plastic 9x12 sheets. We taped them up over a couple of doors to kind of enclose it a little and we're heating the kitchen and the living room, and it's not hot, but it's keeping us comfortable in there. So I know it's a little late in the game, but if you can get yourself, after this crisis, get yourself some sort of portable heating that doesn't require electricity. Right. And believe me, you talk about romantic, your spouse will thank you for that. So
nice and warm. Now, I will throw in the teapot clay cooker trick. You can take any terracotta pot, put it on like some bricks, and put a couple of candles under it.
Yeah. And
that will make a heat radiator that's nice and safe.
And get yourself also, in addition to that, those little Sterno cans. They're what's great about those, they're like a candle, but they're made for keeping food warm and keeping
nice and warm.
And then you close them up and you save them for the next emergency. So I don't know. It's too late, probably. I'm sure the shelves are cleaned out now, but next time things, get restocked, get yourself those, and you'll be happy.
We will have another storm at some point, folks.
Yeah.
Yep.
Real quick, too, Allan, I'm not going to delve in this, but I'm actually starting another screened-in porch, believe it or not, next week. So
okay,
I am
awesome.
I work year-round. If you need a deck or a patio cover or a screened-in porch or a pergola, I work year-round, and I actually enjoy working in the winters. So give me a call directly at 901-921-7105, and we can get you scheduled and get things going. And also, you can visit my website, thorshomes.com. And Allan, darkoakmedia.com never fails. And a big shout-out to our buddy Scott Carroll, who came in and stepped in for me last week. I wasn't able to make it. And Bobby.
Bobby Hodge, yeah.
When is he going to start on darkoakmedia.com?
Very soon, as a matter of fact. We're already working on a project with him.
Okay. So what else do you got over there at darkoakmedia.com this week?
Right now, it's, we just did a Cooking Today show. We've got a couple of the last week's shows with Geek Tank Radio and Tool Talk all posted up. And, of course, Story Time and It Came from the International Market are the really big ones right now.
Okay.
So just pop over to darkoakmedia.com and you can click through all the shows. We got something you'll find amusing.
Yeah, absolutely. So Allan, we've been having a little fun talking about the fact that, you wouldn't think it because today everybody's thinking about hunkering in and cutting tree limbs and avoiding live power lines. But, Valentine's Day is right around the corner. And I think people men at our age, Allan, who have been through a few years, I'm not going to say how many years of marriage, have learned, okay, there's the presents you give year one. We know that.
Right.
We know you're going to bring home. We know what you're going to bring home, guys. So we don't need to delve into that. But at some point, things get real. And you need to think in terms of, if you're going to give a gift, it's not a bad idea. There's ways to be practical and yet romantic. We were talking about lighting. I think, creating mood lighting for your house, creating pleasant lighting, creating lighting that's adjustable. There things that'll increase the livability and just the peace and comfort of your home. Allan, we talked about some of the appliances available, just some of the tool kits. Didn't you tell me something about
Well,
I
was flipping through the websites of most of the big box stores, and I was cracking up at the fact that both, all 3 or 4 of the majors are running big Valentine specials with his and her toolkits,
Sure.
appropriately colored tools, whether it's pinks or purples or blues or black or whatever you like. And then we already mentioned different size tools. So, that great big giant pipe wrench that I would use, well, maybe you're a bit more diminutive than I am. At least I hope you are.
Yeah, me too.
I need to lose weight. Smaller tools, smaller hands. So I was just kind of looking through and I was like, all right, they even have several of them even have date night specials.
Ooh, I'm telling you, going to a big box store.
I'm cracking up looking at this.
When you're going to a big box store, not to deal with an emergency,
right?
It's fun and it's a pleasant place. It's a good place for a date.
A couple of them were even doing splash painting.
What's
date
that?
Nights. That's where they're closing off a big white area, and they're giving you a couple of what we call the Tyvek bunny suits. We always refer to them as bunny suits.
Okay.
You get the big Tyvek bunny suit, and you get a splash paint dinner.
Oh,
so you
nice.
can just
Now
Triggered
the
Max.
big box stores just need like sledgehammer therapy every now and then.
I'm telling you. People do. Don't they have things you pay money to take out your aggressions on that?
We actually have a crash room here in Memphis.
A crash room.
Where you can pay money. They will give you a 10-pound sledge, and anything in that room is fair game.
I mean, they got axe throwing. They got there's positive ways to channel your rage and aggression.
I got news for you. Axe throwing is just plain fun, and B, you might have a new respect for your romantic partner.
Yeah.
Because it is the darndest things that bring out the real joy in people.
Well, Allan, it wouldn't be right either if it would be wrong of me to neglect the also ulterior motives that you can have and the sinister underpinnings of this strategy. Basically, I'm picturing this his and her tool set, right, Allan?
Yes.
And I'll say this is for men or women. Maybe you're a wife and you do most of the fixing. Maybe you're a husband and you've done most of the repairs around the house. Well, you start getting this to where these are his and her projects where you're both doing them together.
Right.
Maybe you both change the lights. Maybe you both tear that wall out. Well, what's going to happen down the road is you're not. It's when a problem arises, it's not going to just be automatic that, well, I got to fix this because I'm the only one around here that knows how to. If you both know how to do things, well, you can pawn some of that work off on your spouse, and you you get a lot of residual benefit out of that, Allan.
Well, you also get rid of a lot of the residual. Well, so and so just doesn't do this.
Right. That's not my job. If you both know how to do it, that excuse goes away.
It's a matter of, are we moving forward? Are we achieving the goals? Are we getting to, it's one of those things. It's never a bad thing to plan the movie night.
Yeah.
Because you want the lights down, you want the popcorn made, you want all these stuff. So there's nothing wrong with, pre-planning a few things just to make your life a little sweeter and easier.
I'm convinced my wife has purposely not learned how to work with tools because then she'd have to fix the thing.
Right.
Every time there's a crisis, she's probably I'll probably really enjoy coming home today to hear.
Yeah,
but
well,
no, I think there's something.
She
to
doesn't
that.
have any power right now. You're safe.
She can't hear this, but it's like, yeah, if you both know how to do it, I don't have to rush home next time
That's
a pipe
right.
bursts. I can, just she'll know how to fix it, and I don't know. Well, we'll see. Hopefully, the divorce lawyers aren't calling us asking to sponsor the show next week. But if you've got any good romantic home improvement ideas, send those to our Tool Talk Radio Facebook page, and it's a lot of fun. We'd love to post that stuff, and but we really hope everybody's going to stay safe out there, and like I said, continue to send us your Ice Storm 2022 battle stories. Hopefully, next week this will all be behind us. But wow, what a week, Allan. But we're out of time, so it's time to scoot out of here. So on behalf of my buddy Allan Gilbreth and our pal Max Behind the Glass, I'm Joe Thorderson. Thanks for listening to Tool Talk Radio, and we'll see you next week.